Shwmai a croeso cynnes, and welcome to the What's Your Story podcast. I'm James Owen, a Welsh filmmaker and storyteller, and I'm passionate about sharing stories. This podcast is all about business owners sharing their journey, and we'll be speaking with directors, entrepreneurs and creatives from all across Wales to learn from their experiences. We believe everyone has a story to tell. What's your story? Shwmai a croeso cynnes, welcome back to What's Your Story. And we love hearing about business stories, and we've got one from across the bridge today. A mi being in Llanelli, just over Lycha Bridge, I've got two guests in the studio today who are women, they are mothers, they are home stagers, and they are business owners, and we'll talk a little bit about their business journey. And in the studio today, I have Lowri and Claire. Shwmai, girls, how are we doing?
Shwmai, hi,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you girls? You women? Or...
Well, I'll take girls.
Take girls?
Take girls all day long.
All day long.
Well, you've very newly, over the last few years, set up your own business. And I'd love you to, and whether you want to take it turns or what, because we're going to discuss the different roles of the business. Now, what is home stage in Wales? In a few sentences, can you gather that?
So basically, we prepare and present homes to look their absolute best, ready for sale. We work for developers, homeowners, property investors. Yeah.
So that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Selling properties, you wanted to look good.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, good. Because to me, this is a new concept to me. Home staging, and we can talk a bit about that, you know. And this is you've obviously seen a bit of a growing trend, and you've thought, okay, because you want to make a business out of it, right? So you want to earn an income from it because there's a commercial opportunity, but also something you really enjoy.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did it start, home staging business? Just love to know the concept, the inception of the business, and we can maybe talk a bit about why we need home staging.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit different for us because it didn't sort of start from this great love of interiors. Like,
You're not an architect.
certainly not. Very much far from it. And, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, you know, I love beautiful houses and fluffed cushions and this colour and that colour. It didn't start from there. We didn't do our
Degrees in interior design.
Or it started actually from a much darker place for me. I had my two children and I felt quite unwell with postnatal depression with both of the children. They were born 18 months apart. And I quickly realised that one of the factors that made me feel worse was my surroundings and the importance of order and presentation and colour. And if my house felt chaotic, then I felt chaotic and somehow less capable as a parent that way. So I started to create the space to make myself feel better. And then I thought to myself, oh, if I'm feeling like this, other women must be feeling like this as well. So I started a business out of that. Once I got better, obviously, because I was in quite a dark place. And then, it just went from there, really. I started with professional organising, decluttering and lifestyle management. And then from there, I met Claire and we took it to a bit of a different level after that then, because psychology-wise, there's a lot of psychology involved in how a person feels within the space that they're living. Placement, presentation, things like that. There's a lot of psychology wrapped around it. So
That's interesting because my wife often gets very stressed when the house is a bit of a mess. And for me, it's just it's not that I enjoy living in, you know, I'd like to think I don't live in a dirty house because I think dirty and hygiene is one thing
Completely
versus
different.
clutter and mess in terms of, you know, often teenagers will say like their room's a mess, but then they know what everything is. And organized chaos.
Organized chaos.
That's the term they often use. But yeah, it's interesting about that psychology because Amy she does get quite stressed when the house is a bit of a mess. And often you hear the term, messy house, messy mind, these sorts of things. What is the psychology of that then? Because I've not really understood it. Or is it, is there I don't know, somebody written a paper about it in terms of the theories?
Oh yeah,
Many. I think visual noise is a great way to describe it. Your
nervous system. If you just think about your nervous system,
the cognitive overload that comes with the amount of if you're sensitive to a lot of noise and you feel a little bit overwhelmed when there's too much going on, it's the same visually. So the visual noise can cause the same amount of stress and the same overwhelm. And once there's a place for everything in its place. And we all, especially as women, we all suffer from a little bit of it. Even a lot of our past clients suffer from either diagnosed or undiagnosed ADHD. So it's often worse for a person with ADHD because they can't complete something. So they'll start to organise a kitchen cupboard and they will be distracted and then they'll start something else. So they can't quite finish the task in itself, which is where we came in and we just did it all for them. Yeah. So there's a lot of science behind it. It's psychology. It's
You've just described my wife right there. That's what my own looks like. But it's interesting. But how women maybe experience the visual noise more than men. Yes, it's really interesting. I'm sure we can talk bit more of a deep dive into that. But yes, it's incredible that out of a bad experience for you, Lowri, in your time being a mum, and you really struggled with that postnatal depression, and you've managed to put that energy into something, and it was a very dark time for you, and you both knew each other at school. You went to the same school?
Yeah, we went to the same school. We were a couple of years apart, as Lowri likes to remind me regularly. I was a couple of years older. But yeah, we didn't really know each other that well in school, knew of each other. But our relationship kind of came a little bit later on when we both had our little boys at the same time, and we met at Cylchmaithrin and just started speaking. And I think we were just aligned in a lot of our ways, weren't we? We liked similar things. And
we're both really funny.
Both so funny. But yeah, we were just so aligned. And I just think, I said it before and it sounds really cheesy, but it just felt like we were meant to meet up again, It just, I presume you felt the same way. But yeah, the stars were aligned. I really believe that. I, had my love of interiors. I just built a house with my husband. I say it wasn't me.
But you were there with the bricks.
I was there delegating, doing all the important stuff. But I'd just been doing that, so that was kind of all fresh in my mind. I was kind of coming to the end of my time at school. I worked in a school for 14 years with children with ASD, and I'd loved that, but I knew I'd gone off on maternity and I knew it was time for me to do something a little bit different. So yeah, it kind of, the stars were definitely aligned when we met up again.
Yeah.
I've been running my business for 7 years. It's a lonely place when you're on your own. It's hard work. So it's always good to get somebody on board, and it doesn't have to be like a business owner or a shareholder, right? Even if you're a solopreneur or a sole trader, you can just have good connections and build relationships with like-minded businesses. So, it's not to say that you need, staff or directors in a business to bounce off, but it's important to have that sounding board because, you set up something which was going quite well, but you just needed that extra voice, that extra year to bounce, and that turned into what is now the business today.
Yeah, and there's so many sole traders in property, entrepreneurial sole traders. A lot of them work alone within the property sector because although it's loose, it did start within the property sector. There was always, the lifestyle management side of the business, which was where we sort of we watched a house go, in project management sense, we watched a house go back to brick, and we were part of the team that rebuilt the project, and our client wanted all the original features back into the property. So we did all the shopping for that, to reclamation yards and things like that. So it's always been an element of property, and there's a lot of sole traders in property, and there's so much space for it. And I take my hat off to them, because it is a lonely business. You know, you don't have anyone to chat things through with. And with the organising business, what I had envisioned for it was more of a brand, something different, something that people could really relate to between Claire and I, because we're very similar, but also we're very different as well. So it captured people's eyes. You know, and which is exactly what I wanted it to do. You know, I wanted to go from more of a sole trader to a brand that people could relate to and enjoy watching and enjoy working with.
So let's talk about homestaging, because you've been doing this now as a brand. This business has existed how many years now?
Oh, well.
So the story is, the last couple of organising jobs that we did, we were naturally homestaging, and we didn't even know it. It's such a new concept here. So what was happening is, we were being called in to organise people's homes, and it would turn out that they were going to sell, they were moving on, and they needed to get their homes in a place that it looked presentable for people to come in and view. So yeah, we were naturally doing this thing, and we kept going away from these jobs going, gosh, that was really fun. Like that was really, really good. You know, this must be a thing. There must be a...
You're getting paid for this?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, this...
Without it being a business and a brand?
It was very much not the homestaging model that it is today.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was more the organising model.
Yeah.
But we were photographing the property ready for the market.
We were moving sofas, we were moving tables, we were
bringing in props.
Yeah, you know, from our own house.
Yeah.
House size, you know, and that's where we were at
Your
that
husband's
point.
like, where's the sofa gone?
Yes, they were.
He's like, I'm sure there was a plant over there last night.
Where's my mirror gone?
Yeah, you know, and so we were doing this, and we were just like, what is this? Like, what is this thing? Then we found a program on Netflix, actually, Selling Sunset, and we were like, oh, this is, I mean, obviously on a completely different level, with it being America and LA, but we were like, oh my gosh, homestaging, this is a thing.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Let's deep dive.
Deep dive. Yeah. It's so the Staging House Wales, which is who we are now, was launched at the end of last year. In between that last organising job that we did and now, we entered into a business agreement that was great on paper, very much didn't align. You know, Claire and I value a lot more integrity over ego. It's just, we didn't align, and it didn't work out. So we stepped away and realised that we can do this. We built a lot of fantastic relationships, which we've managed to hold on to so easily.
Yeah.
We've just had so many arms put around us in the last 6 months. It's just, I could cry. But
yeah.
It's been a journey. And so we've been homestaging officially for 15 months.
Yeah.
As the Staging House Wales at the end of last year.
Staging House Wales. I got that wrong, because I said Staging Home Wales. It's a mouthful.
Close enough.
Staging House Wales. And it's interesting you said earlier, Claire, you've been homestaging without you realising. And I think we're very similar in a creative sense, because I homestage when I'm filming things. You know, you want the photographs to look nice. You know, when we're filming, you know, I and my team, we want the background looking good, because there are certain things that might distract the audience. You want to take that out. You know, I'd be filming an Admiral, often on like floor 11, floor 10, and then I'd be down on floor 5 nicking plants. Because I'm like, what can I put in the background that's going to make it interesting?
Yeah.
Because it's very important. Do you want something in the background, or is there something distracting and you want to take it out?
Yeah.
So this is about adding things and subtracting things from the scene.
That's
so yeah, it's
exactly what
interesting.
it is.
I'm a home stager.
You are.
And that's the thing, you know, it's the going back to how I felt when I was unwell and how overwhelming the space can be for you. It can either, it's never your surroundings are never neutral for you. They're either overwhelming or they're supporting you. There's no in between, you know, you have to get it right. And the psychology around, again, what you've just said, you know, you don't want to distract your audience and you want it to look a certain way for a certain podcast or, you know, a certain job, and you create that space to match the job.
I've just realised you're both sat in the contrast of the background because we've got a greyish background here. So if you were sat there, Claire, we blend into the background. So this is great for the camera. You didn't even realise, did you?
Yes, we did. Oh my God, so we did.
You're fantastic.
It was all planned. We do often joke because we are like Ant and Dec. I tend to always be the side of Lowri.
Yeah.
So that is
Excellent.
quite funny how it's worked out so well.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Background.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about home staging because, you've created a business out of something that maybe wasn't there before. It's as a concept, it's trending. It's getting more and more popular in Wales specifically, which is why you've obviously jumped on the bandwagon. So I'm sure lots of the audience listening and watching don't really understand that because I'm just thinking, if I'm selling a house, right? I've never actually sold the house. I'm 30. I've lived in my family home all my life. I inherited it. So I've never really gone through that stage now of selling a house. Me and my wife expecting our first child. Who knows what that may look like in a few years' time? We might need a bigger home.
You will.
And all those things. For now, it's okay. It's okay for now.
Calm down, girls. Calm down.
You need cash there. You need cash.
Yeah,
there
of
when
course,
you get a home and things like that. But yeah, I never sold the house. But to me, before meeting you guys today, I wouldn't have considered bringing home stagers in to sell the home because I think, well, isn't that the estate agent's job to sell the home for me? So what in Wales specifically, why do people need home staging?
I think there are many reasons why people need home staging. I think the biggest reason is there's so many vacant properties on the market at the minute. I know when we were having a little look the other day, weren't we? And I think just in the kind of Neath, Swansea area, there was something like 200 and something properties in the space of about 30 miles, vacant properties, you know. So I think when you're listing, particularly if you're listing your house vacant, and obviously it goes online, it's a really competitive market. Your house needs to stand out. And I think this is where home staging kind of comes into its own because, as Lowri rightly said earlier, there's a massive psychology behind it. People need to feel emotional connections with the property that they're going to buy. They make their minds up within the first 10 seconds generally if they're going to buy that house. They'll walk in, if it's not feeling right, if it's not smelling right. So yeah, it's massive in that respect, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, listen, an estate agents can sell a house, staged or unstaged. They've been doing it hundreds of years, right? They can do it. It's not the question. But the difference within a vacant property that home staging can make is you can justify your price. It'll be on the market less time. You'll have more eyes on the property. It's going to sell quicker, and it's often sells for a higher price because you're going to have, say, for example, you hold an open day or an agent holds an open day. You're going to have all your potential buyers walk through the door, connect with the property emotionally first, because not every potential buyer walks into a property with a calculator. A lot of them walk in with a nervous system and they want to connect with that property. And that staged property is going to stand out next to the next property you walk into that's vacant. You're going to have connected with that property first, which is why you're going to say, well, your buyers are going to be speaking. They can see that the beds fit. Yeah. They can see that their sofa would fit there. There's no question as to which furniture would go where. You know, you can almost hear the conversations happening. I want this one. This is the one I want. Make an offer. Make your offer. Somebody else has already made an offer. Make a higher offer. And it's a no-brainer. And there's a reason why your PLC developers like Persimmon, like Charles Church, like West Acres, they will not put a show house up without furnishing it. Why would you put a cake in a bakery without icing on it?
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Thanks.
That was lovely.
Reverse that one. Yeah, it's good. It's funny. I like it. I get it. Okay, yeah. Because, if you were to look in... I've photographed show homes. We've done work for West Acres, so I get the concept of it being a furnished property, of course, because you want to sort of imagine, or as a seller or developer, you want to sort of imagine the buyer seeing it and it believing it's going to be their own and where things will go. If it's a vacant property, because on the flip side, if say somebody's experienced a bereavement and you just get to the house and you want to sell it, you're gonna have a cheaper sale because it's a shell, isn't it?
Sure.
But I get the home staging, because there's obviously a cost there, because you gotta put bread on the table, ladies, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
But I guess for the buyers or for the sellers, then if that means they can get an extra 10, 20 grand on their home, then it's worth it.
Yeah, and that's right. And if you think about your return, investment properties, which is something that we've worked on time and time again. Investors from across the bridge will look to buy property in Wales because they get a lot more for their money here. The return on investment is, you're looking at is significant. For a small investment, you wouldn't spend hundreds of thousands of pounds on a renovation project and then fall at the last hurdle. And it's probably the smallest amount of money you're going to spend on that property for the most return.
Yeah, okay, that's it. That's really interesting. And for you, it's a new experience because you haven't run many other businesses prior. I want to talk about what a woman in business looks like, because you told me offline that you're not your typical business women.
No.
But what is a businesswoman? Because I've met many women in my sort of business journey. And there are lots of different flavors of women in business. Yeah. It depends really on your industry, right? You could rock up in a suit. Yeah, okay. Yeah. If you're a solicitor or a lawyer or you're doing a big presentation, makes sense, yeah. But sometimes I meet women who are very comfortable and dressed as if they're going to the gym. Yeah. Because if you're a personal trainer running a gym and that's your business, well, it'd be weird if you were in a suit doing burpees, wouldn't it? Yeah. Of course. What is it from your experience of running this business now? Why do you see yourselves different? And does that relate to some of the people you work with? Do they like you?
I mean, definitely. I think we can't be anything else but ourselves. That is our personality. And we've always said from day one we can't change that, because we've always wanted to build a business being our true selves. And anybody that knows us and anybody that's worked with us will realise that very, very quickly. We've learned a lot in business, in the terms of business, over the last kind of year particularly. Some good, some bad, but you know what? That's how it is. That's how business is, as you will know yourself.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly.
Still there.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. And you ask what a woman in business looks like. They come in all shapes and forms, right? I think for us personally, we are very much ourselves. I've got heels on today. I never wear heels. This is a first for me. I really went for it today and dressed up. But generally, we are mums. We're mums first, before anything. So that's a battle in itself, because to try and build a business from the ground up when you're facing so many other challenges, that's really tough, But we've met, I think what we've all got in common across the board, regardless of what industry we're working in, you come up against that fight, that battle of, the mental load that women carry, which is very different to men. I'm not saying for a minute that men don't have a mental load, but it's very different.
When you say mental load, I'm struggling with
I mean, with their families, with with just everything really in life. I think we just think about things a lot differently. We're set up to think about things a lot differently, physically and emotionally. And I think those challenges are all, they're relevant through whatever industry you're working with, or working in, I should say. So I think we've all got that in common. But yeah, we are very much as we are. We don't change. I don't feel like we change a lot from what we're like at home to what we're like in business.
Yeah,
really.
I think what you see is what you get with us, really, isn't it? We, in terms of what we do, we know we can do the most outstanding job, but we do it without any ego. We are who we are.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. In the last 6 months, we've seen, like you say, we've seen a huge plethora of different kinds of businesswomen and men. We've seen businesswomen who are something that we absolutely don't want to be, and we've seen businesswomen who are something that we aspire to be all day long, and they are worlds apart, but both run successful businesses. It's, we are, I would like to think we're somewhere in the middle. Right now.
That's a very long answer to your question.
Sorry.
Answer, but it's
Dribbled on there.
What you said there, Claire, was you're a mum first, then a business owner. And I think there's an importance in that because, for me, I often say to my wife, I'm a Christian, right? So I'll always say, a number one priority is our relationship with God.
Yeah.
Then it's our marriage.
Yeah.
Then it's business.
Yeah.
Because if I'm right with God and I'm right with myself and I feel good and my well-being is 100%, that then is going to feed into my marriage. It's going to be positive and help and support. And then with a happy wife, happy life. My sister-in-law said that on my wedding speech. If my wife is happy, then so my business is a bit easier.
Yeah.
And that helps when your wife is in the business as well.
Yeah.
But I think for me, those priorities are right. And sometimes it's difficult to manage because, I've seen some people who, they're like high flying CEOs and then work 70 hours a week and then don't see the kids. And, I never want to be like that. But then sometimes you've got, there are moments in business where maybe you need to work a little bit harder because you've got a deadline. So it's like, okay, do I miss being at home, having dinner to then do this meeting? And it's a hard balance, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah, you always got to think of the end result. Like if that we've often come across that, I need to be here, but I really need to do this. What's the outcome of this and how is this going to benefit from the outcome of that? And then you have to sort of amalgamate them in together. Mm-hmm. But we're constant. Our children are in sport, school. It's something to juggle all of the time. And like Claire said, we're both very much mums first, but there's two of us.
Yeah.
So if one of us can't, the other one does.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to know about the practicals because you've both got busy lives, both got two kids, married, families, sports, and it sounds mental.
Yeah.
Just your lifestyle.
That's quite accurate.
So you're super women, I gather, doing life. But how does that work practically in the business? So a client comes on board, a developer, property developer, because you're no longer taking things from your home because you've got a storage unit now, which is good. Once the kids go home from school and, Mum, where's the sofa?
Where's my bed?
Where's my bed?
Have you taken one of the beds on the job?
We haven't yet.
We've taken,
Not
not
yet.
yet.
Kids,
I
you're sleeping
never
on the
say
floor.
never.
Duvets, pillows, soft sort of like decorative toys, throws, rugs, they've all gone and come back after 10 weeks.
After 10 weeks?
After 10 weeks, yeah. So the kids expect it now, and as do our husbands, there's...
Do you take the kids on jobs, do you?
No, we haven't yet, actually, although my daughter shows a lot of interest. So I am thinking that there's going to come a point where she's going to go, can I come with you?
Be a third
And she quite likes organising and, putting things in the right place. So.
Because you've sort of said it a bit earlier, you're literally moving furniture. So you're doing all the logistics. You're meeting the client. You're discovering what their needs are. Then when the job happens, there's a moving in day, I guess.
Yeah.
Where you're bringing all the furniture in, and so and that's manual labour. You're not contracting another company to bring the stuff in is
So
something that...
yeah, we do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's one of the relationships that we built over the last year, or one or two.
So started off, you're moving on to
Yeah. So
Exactly that.
Yeah, so now we use a removals company, and they come in and assemble on the install day. They'll come in and assemble all the big things. So Claire will do the design concept first, and they will have the design concept so that they know where to put everything. And then Claire and I will go in and just do the fluffy things, like the steam in the beds and, fluffing the cushions and placement of all the accessories and rugs and things like that. So, but
And I think logistics-wise, we were, and actually across the board when it comes to the business now, we've always said we want to use local. We just want to use local craftspeople, local tradesmen. And that was, for us, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? And I think that's kind of the way we want to go forward. We've got local art from local artists, and that was a huge thing for us. So being able to support a local logistics company as well, it's paying it forward, isn't it? I just think that is what's lovely about Wales in general. I think the support, as Lowri said earlier on, that we've had since we've built the business. Just Wales. I mean, what can I say?
Yeah, and when you started off, you're moving furniture. You don't need to be hiding the fact that you're using a company, because it doesn't need to be you. In my instance, it's sometimes not me coming to do the filming. It's one of our team, right? So there's nothing wrong with that.
You've got to know your strengths, haven't you?
And I see you as project managers. You're the project managers of the home staging, right?
Yeah.
Because you rely on other people to come in.
Yeah.
I'm curious, with artwork in particular, do you often use the same artwork? So you've got like art stored in the container and then it moves around?
Yeah, so a lot of the houses will have a lot of wall space for artwork. And artwork is such a personal choice, isn't it? Artwork is so important. So we sort of wanted to steer away from the generic store-bought artwork.
Yeah.
And also, like Claire said, support local, incredibly talented artists. And so we put their artwork up in each of the properties, and each of the pieces of artwork will have a signatory price tag. So when the estate agents are showing potential buyers round, they will make the point of all the artwork you see in this property is for sale.
Wow.
The same with cushion covers and ornaments and things like that.
Wow, that's incredible. So, yeah, because I thought maybe you bought a load of artwork, and then because I was going to ask, has there been an instance where maybe one of a buyer has seen the artwork in another home on Facebook?
Oh, right.
It's in the same photograph.
And you know what? Yeah, that will happen. So home staging, it's almost a rental service in many ways. So, the furniture, you rent the furniture for X amount of weeks. And, the furniture does, it turns over, doesn't it, in different properties. So, there will, recycling, reusing is a big part of home staging. But yeah, with the using the local craftspeople and businesses, that's kind of, obviously the main aim is that they will get business from it. But the second thing is obviously that we can use different art, and people are seeing different artwork. It's.
And from a logistics point of view, how would you fix the art on the wall? So you like drilling or you using command strips? Because I'm thinking you've got to obviously take you can't obviously knock a wall down and things like that. So how would you manage that?
We close our eyes, like
The first few that we did is quite funny. We use, in answer to your questions, we do use like command strips and very small thin nails, and we try not to use anything that's too heavy. And obviously, we always come equipped with filler. We always, that's one thing we do always discuss though with the person who's selling, is that there will be, little things like that going on, and that's part of our contract. But
you will go and touch up because if you want something on a wall, it's got to be, because if you use command strips maybe with a heavy oil paint, then it's not going to do it.
That's right. It depends on the, if it's canvas maybe, which we don't often use, but it depends on the weight of the piece, really. But
The first few nails that we did put in the wall, like we were just a bit like,
yeah, yeah. But then newly renovated properties, they're plasterboard, so it's
Yeah.
pretty easy to, you know, to get them in and take them out, and then we just go around with filling. And when we
That's funny.
when we take all the
It
furniture
is.
out, so on install day we'll put them all out, and then on the day of
D-stage.
D-stage we take everything out and fill all the holes. Yeah,
Wow, okay. Very
Sand them
interesting.
down.
yeah.
Sand
Oh, should see us.
It's out of fine art now.
Yeah, brilliant. So where would you like to see the business in 3 years' time?
Do you know, that's a good question. We kind of had a little chat over this a few days ago, didn't we? And you know, look, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are particularly, but I just wanted to be successful. I wanted to continue being successful. I want people to learn how important it is, home staging. It would be lovely to just see it just become a thing like it is in America. But on a more personal level, it would just be lovely to be able to continue doing what we love.
Yeah.
Like that's my thoughts. I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, the same. That, you know, the rise of home staging in Wales is definitely becoming more and more prominent as the years go by, and we are just really proud to be part of it. And in my opinion, in the next 5 years, there won't be any investors or developers or homeowners with vacant houses that aren't staging.
So it'll just be the standard,
It'll be a thing. Yeah.
which it isn't right now.
Not right now.
No,
Watch
Interesting.
this.
Okay.
Watch.
And if you had next week 30 homes to stage, could you do that?
could we do it?
Yeah.
We could make it happen.
We can make it happen. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Because of the relationships we've built over the last year, James, anything is possible.
I'm just thinking, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
That's a lot of assembly. And,
Yeah.
you know,
wouldn't sleep.
No, you wouldn't sleep. You'd get 30 homes.
Yeah. Do you know, if we had to do it, we would. And that's what you have to have that attitude, right? When you've got a business, but you've got to make it work.
Yeah.
In some
You
way,
do
shape, or
whatever it
form.
takes.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking from the growth, you know, if you want us to grow, because there's nothing wrong with you being two mums, running this business.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, employing staff.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
That's different.
Scaling
Growing a business is challenging.
Yeah.
But, you know, if that's what you want, great.
Yeah.
Why not have 30 homes in a week?
Yeah.
You know?
We definitely would like to scale it. You know,
We would like to
There's
scale it,
there's no doubt that is definitely in the plan. But yeah, I think that's a scary thought.
Yeah, there are, you know,
Exciting. But scary.
yeah, I think we are taking it day by day at the minute, and we are loving every second. And I don't know if it's too scary to look a bit too far into the future. Right now, it's exciting for us now, and I can't wait to see where we are in the next 3 years.
Come back on and
Yeah.
share your journey.
Absolutely.
Please.
So I'd love to know, we've got to hear a little bit about your stories today. I'd love to know, who is somebody that has inspired you both, maybe influenced you both, whether as a mum or a mother, or as a business owner. If you could spend an hour sitting down, so instead of me sitting in this chair, someone that you'd love to just hear their story, who might that be? And I'll go to Claire first.
I would probably say, I mean, there's many, but I suppose from a mother's stance and someone who, I'm going to say Michelle Obama. I love Michelle Obama. I just think she is incredible. I think she's a force to be reckoned with, and I really love that about her. You know, I'd also like to sit down with Britney Spears, but for all different reasons.
Two very different people. But Michelle Obama, that's a great answer. I
do
haven't had that on
I was
podcast.
actually going to say Michelle Obama as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You've got to pick somebody else, huh? Or maybe, are there any local successful business owners like who are women?
yes, there are.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, we've got one in particular, and
And
I know
we've
who you're
already, we've
Go on, who's it?
just. Am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
Her name's Lucy Cohen.
Oh, Lucy Cohen.
Yeah. And I just adore her. I adore everything she's done, everything she's built, where she's come from, what she's done. She's just incredible.
She's built a business from the ground up. And she's just, I think she built the first digital accountancy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just incredible.
First with accountancy firm in Wales, I think.
She's just amazing. But we're lucky enough to, to have already been able to sit down and speak with her. But she is just one of those people you could continue speaking to and just never get bored.
Filmed a podcast with Lucy.
Did you?
Not What's Your Story, but it was for a client, so I did get a read there.
Yeah. Is her? Do you know her relationship with, her relationship with money is something to me money used to terrify me. But her relationship with it is very different. She sees it from a hugely different perspective, and I've learned from that. And somebody, every now and again throughout your life, somebody will drop a one-liner and they have no idea what they've just done. But that one-liner sticks with you forever.
Yeah.
I've got about 5 from Lucy.
Yeah, really, 5.
Yeah. We often say, what would Lucy do in this situation?
Be more Lucy.
Be more
Be more
Lucy.
Lucy.
Yeah.
Be more Lucy. Have you got any of those one-liners to share for the audience? You remember?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, but,
I won't put you in the spot.
I'm not sure, but
we can't.
I've got a few things in there. Because she's quite colourful.
She is, yeah. It was,
wonderful.
when she did say at one point, when you're a business owner, just do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And you've just got to do whatever it takes. When you own a business, you remortgage your house, you do whatever it takes. Just do whatever it takes.
Do whatever it takes.
Which is where we are now, whatever it takes.
That's a great statement to live by. Girls, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you.
And I'd love for our audience and those listening, if they want to know more about you, where do they go? Where's the best place to find out more about your business?
So we are on all the major social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and we've got a website as well.
Excellent.
Do I say the website?
You can say the website.
www.staginghouse.wales.
Oh, fantastic. So if you want to know more about their work, if you want to stage your very own home to sell it for more money, speak to these girls because they are the people to get your home staged. Thank you so much. I've learned so much from you both. It's really given me a lot to take away from today, personally, as a future dad. As a business owner, I've learned a lot. So, thank you for reaching out.
Thanks for having us.
And coming along. Diolch yn fawr.
Appreciate you. Diolch.